I think if you are a bourbon geek in your local area, it is important to establish a relationship with the store, particularly if you're doing barrel picks. You want them to pass through that store, or you want access to allocated bourbon, or you want to be part of the local whiskey community. The great Kenny Coleman once said, bourbon, it breaks down barriers, it lubricates conversation. And I feel like I have that with my local store owner, and it's built a community locally where people will put away their cell phones, they'll talk to each other, and they'll enjoy good talk over a good dram. And so because of that, I'm going to say appropriately rated.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It is another brand new episode of Bourbon Pursuit, the official podcast of bourbon. It's Kenny here today, riding solo, and that's because Ryan or Fred I don't think I really invited him to this one. This was something that I had somebody reach out to me. It's been a friend of the show and gotten to know him over the past couple of years through content creation and social media. And he says, I'd love to come on the show. And I said, sure, we need to do that anyway because of the angles that especially both our guests bring today and how the modern landscape of bourbon media is starting to change, especially on the social media side. But he says, I really want to do that over, under, or properly rated. And I go, that's awesome because it's one of my favorite episodes to kind of go through because there's just so much shit to talk about in the realm and world of bourbon and what we find either like overhyped or underhyped. And maybe that's the same exact thing as rated. But let's go ahead and kick it off today. So on the show, I have Kevin Carlson and Mike Yates. They are both on TikTok and Instagram, big bourbon content creators. So Kevin and Mike, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we got Kevin C., also known as Bourbon Notes. Was that what it originally was?
It is. Yep.
Okay. And then Mike, you're Cinebourbon, right? I guess, Kevin, you've been able, you talked about the show, especially on a lot of your content. What drove you to start building stuff inside of TikTok?
Yeah, I was a classic COVID TikTok creator. I was in bourbon groups, and I actually had an Instagram account, taking pictures of old Weller Antique 175s I got for retail and feeling like I was the coolest guy in the world. And then started making short form content on TikTok during COVID and opened up a world of different bourbon opportunities. And it's led me here, which is, like I was telling you before, one of my bucket list items, foundational bourbon education from your podcast. So honored to be here.
I'm glad to say that. And I hear that as well. We've done a lot of stuff over the years, but you never know who's on the other end. So awesome that you're able to find it.
Yeah. I'm sorry I scared off Ryan and Fred, though. So.
To be fair, Ryan's on vacation this week, and Fred, it was in the calendar. He could ask if he wanted to see it, but it's all good. And then, Mike, you've got a pretty interesting background. I love your content because anybody that doesn't follow you, it's very cinematic. So you've got to have some sort of background in movie production or something like that.
I mean, kind of. I mean, people would be surprised. My day job is in early stage product design for ed tech, so like educational technology.
Okay, so you just have this as a hobby then?
Yeah, this is a hobby. So I built a school that has no teachers, and today it's getting a lot of press, like Time Magazine and CNN, and I myself had a long history of, I was one of the first education influencers. So I was in Forbes and have multiple TED Talks, and I burnt out on all of that. I had been drinking bourbon. I had been listening to your podcast. I had been watching the Whiskey Tribe YouTube channel. And one day my wife said to me, you need a new hobby. And it was
start drinking.
Yeah. It was like I had my camera in my hand. I was looking at a bottle of bourbon and I was like, why not? And so I started this random account called Cinebourbon, Cinematic Bourbon, where I just tried to make the bourbon the subject of videos. I'd been into filmmaking since I was 15 and met some people along the way who had worked for MTV and helped produce YouTube series and stuff like that. So I just sort of channeled all that into having a hobby and not a side hustle, just having fun making films about bourbon.
Yeah. Does it ever make you really upset knowing that you spend hours and hours on a video because you have such good clean editing and filters and post-production process, and then Kevin just films himself doing a selfie and he gets like 50,000 views and you're just like, what the shit, man?
Dude, it's crazy. We can be in the same place filming the same thing. He'll put it out, 100,000 views. I'll get 1,200 views. And I'll spend 3 hours editing.
We'll just say you can be overproduced, but not Mike. So
Yeah.
it's the authenticity, it's the realness.
That's it. Yeah.
People crave.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really good because you guys both take different ends of the spectrum when it comes to the content creation side of the production value of it. Mike, in your opinion, have you starting to find yourself going like, okay, I don't need to make everything a large production. I can just shoot some stuff in my iPhone and maybe that's good enough this time.
Yeah. I think even that, or even like if I'm using my pro camera, it's like there doesn't need to be a full-fledged story around everything. It could just be a person talking about something they're passionate about. But yeah, it's like there's certainly more iPhone content making it in. And then I'm also coming to terms with if there's a story that I really want to tell, I'm treating my account as my personal portfolio for the stories that I want out there. So I would rather have 1,000 really devoted people than have 50,000 people that are just there for one moment.
I'll take the 50 for one moment.
I know.
No, I'm just kidding. But Kevin, in your opinion, as you're starting to do content creation, have you seen like what sticks well in your opinion when you're doing stuff? Have you seen something that like this is a surefire way that if I'm creating TikTok content, it's going to get the views?
Yeah. There's a few. I've actually made content on this before. There's a few things you can do that are guaranteed to hit, right? But you're not going to, us three as bourbon geeks, you're not going to really hit that geekier, more nuanced conversation that I like to have. But yeah, you can do, the best budget bourbons, always make a list, always start it with some shocking take, things like that, you can do to get clicks and engagement in the comments. But if you want to have a nuanced conversation, if you want to talk about things that are appropriately rated, overrated, underrated, and go into history or what you've seen trend-wise, you actually can. That's the cut, right? How can you have that conversation and have everybody be able to swallow that pill amongst like the geekier people or the average everyday whiskey drinker? So I try to, we were talking about it on the way over here, I'll try to do like the geekier stuff, but then always bury it in some more basic stuff layered in, because I'll get beat up even by like my cousin. Greg will be like, dude, I need something. I'm going over to a poker night in my neighborhood. I need you to go over the best bottles under $100 again. I'm like, man, we've done that 5 times. You've done it 1,000 times probably. But it's important. And honestly, that's 95% of the whiskey drinkers out there. So it's fun content to make still, but then also pulling amazing whiskey right out of a kicker in there in your warehouse is the stuff I want to talk about.
Yeah. Well, that's the fun stuff too.
Yeah.
They always say that the unicorns actually come in the plastic unmarked bottles.
Yeah.
Right. That's what it usually comes in. Well, like I said, I've been a big fan of what you guys do. I made a huge bet even going into this calendar year that TikTok was going to grow immensely in popularity, especially when it comes to brands and how they need to pay attention to creators that are out there, because the vast majority of people and how the algorithm works and how it can find new audiences is much better than everywhere else. And so once you all start kind of like getting your tentacles into more people that are just scrolling in the feed, because if they like, whether it's Shri or whether it's somebody else and they like one of theirs, then all of a sudden one of yours is going to pop up at the same exact time too, right? So it all kind of filters in together where you kind of see how the algorithm works. So like I said, my bet is still big on TikTok this year and seeing how brands will be paying more attention.
I think that's definitely valid. And I've seen them as they shift to U.S. ownership, whatever that means. Nobody quite knows, I feel like, at this point. But their terms of service is shifting to be more alcohol friendly. So I think we'll see investment like we do on Instagram, which will be huge.
That would be huge.
Yeah.
That would be huge.
Brands are starting to I think they'll get it.
They'll get it?
Yeah. I hope so. I mean, it's like
you're waiting for bottles to start showing up more, right? Is that
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean,
hey, don't worry, I'm in this world long enough. I know what it's like when you get just a bunch of shit in the mail.
That's right. But if they look left and right, like go look at sneakers, go look at any other industry, like everybody's blitzing TikTok, right? Because that's where the future of their consumers are. So I hope bourbon does the same thing.
I agree. Well, let's go ahead. Let's dive in with some of the meat of the subject of the show here and talking about, is it over, under, or properly rated. And these guys did pretty much all the homework for me. They gave me all the ideas. So I'm gonna have to sit here and be like, I didn't come up with any of these. So I'm actually looking forward to
Take no responsibility.
Yeah, taking over these and sort of going blind into it.
What's funny, I sent Mike like 5 things that I sent you. And we were like, oh, this is pretty good. And then you sent me like 15 back.
Well, we're not going to go through all of them.
No.
We're gonna pick a handful of them.
Yeah, pick the good ones.
Yeah, but the first one I do love. The first one on here was hazmat. Hazmat bottles, over, under, or properly rated.
All right, you want me to go first?
Go first. You go first.
So I don't know if I can say this word. I like to count myself as a self-proclaimed proof whore. But I'm going to say that they're overrated, which is kind of surprising. So for me, I love barrel strength, but barrel strength in any form. It can be proofed down. It can be proofed up. When a hazmat does hit and it is in balance and you can drink it and the mouthfeel and everything's there, it's the best. But I feel like today people will just automatically gravitate towards 140, which is actually an arbitrary number. And they'll just instantly tack on 20, 30% on top of it. And it's not based in flavor. So I'm going to go with slightly overrated. And I say this knowing that we have multiple crazy hazmat picks in the wind.
Not going to try to bury yourself.
Yeah,
I was going to say, don't
150
tell
is the new 140. That's my take on it right now.
I mean, unfortunately, I agree with you because we have those hazmat picks coming out. But I was going to say, don't tell them, don't mention that. I mean, I don't know if the average consumer understands what they're buying when they're buying hazmat whiskey. Like, they know it's popular, they know it's hype, they know they've never seen it before, and they know it's valuable because, unfortunately, the secondary market shows them like how valuable it can be. So if you get a 9-year, 140 proof bottle come out, like everybody's jumping on that bottle without actually knowing what the notes are, like what the history behind that bottle is. They just jump on it. So I think it's like, the lack of education, the lack of experience with hazmat. But you're right. Like when they hit, they hit. I will also say it's overrated because there are hazmat bottles that give me a headache when I try them. So I'm like, I don't want to have to warm up for like 30 minutes before I can enjoy the whiskey. Sometimes I just want to get right in.
Just go ahead and dive into it. Kind of taking that, right, that kind of angle you're saying, I'm probably going to go with properly rated. And for one reason, as a enthusiast, you try it, you want it, and it's the novelty of having it. It's truly the novelty of having it, because you get to show it off to your friends, and it's something, as you said, if it's done well, if it tastes great, that's one thing. But yeah, by and large, anything that's usually around that proof point, you're just like, oh crap, this is a lot to take in, especially now that we're seeing a trend of starting to reduce proof. A lot of the drinkers are going that way. But if it's done well, it's done at a certain point. What I don't like is the overhyped factorness of it, where it's like, if it's like 139.4, but he's like, nah, I don't give a shit about it. It's like that has to die. But it does have, like, it has this latch, like it has this gravitational pull that if it does hit that number, everybody loses it, they've got to find it. So there's something to be said about it. Even if it's just for the culture of what we live in,
that sounds super
drive
cool.
towards it.
Hazmat sounds great.
Yeah.
And the things you can do with a tater sticker once it's hazmat. Oh, man, come on.
All right, let's keep going here. So the next one on here is buff turkey. Buff turkey. Over, under, or properly rated.
You want to go first round on this
Buff
one, Mike?
turkey is massively overrated.
Oh, wow. I didn't expect that.
Massively overrated. As a person who enjoys many of them and who actively hunts them, it's overrated. Don't buy them. Leave them for me and the real experts.
Oh, okay.
No.
That's
I mean, but the real reason why I think it's overrated is because, again, I don't know if, like, I am watching a lot of people reach for them just because they can either flip them because there's a lot of hype. I am a self-proclaimed wild turkey fan. If I'm not the president, I'm the vice president of the turkey gang.
Yeah, I was about to say, you got to take that one over with Rare Bird 101 over there.
Yeah. Like, I think Rare Bird might be the definitive president.
Yeah.
I certainly am an office member of the turkey gang. I love that profile. I love the funk. I love the oak. I love that, like, deep, funky cherry note. I love wild turkey. So buff turkey gets me excited because of the history between Buff Turkey, or Wild Turkey, Buffalo Trace, like all that. Who doesn't love 15-year-old barrel proof whiskey? But like, they swing rather hard, and I don't know if people know what they're buying all the time. I think they're just taking shots in the wind. So I think it might be a little bit overrated.
I'm gonna say appropriately rated.
Okay.
And the reason I'm gonna say that is if you said, hey, a year ago when nobody knew what this was, or whenever ago before it happened, hey Kevin, what if you had 15-year-old distillate that was Wild Turkey's mash bill made at Buffalo Trace with their grains and then sold largely to non-distiller producers, and it hit the market? Would that be the greatest thing ever? I'd be like, oh my God, that's like two of my favorite distilleries. Amazing distillate. How can I try it? How can I get some? I think some of the certain bottles have gotten crazy hype with them, so they are overrated. But overall, I think we'll look back at this time and wonder, like, wow, how did I not stockpile as much 15, 16-year-old Buff Turkey as I could at that time? And every one of them, the floor is so high on them. Like, I have to check myself when I'm trying them. Like, I tried the APW the other day, and
ass pocket whiskey, right?
Ass pocket whiskey. Yep, yeah. And it's 107 proof, 15 years. And I had to like tell myself, I was like, okay, you can't don't go into this thinking you're drinking George T. Stagg. Go into this thinking you're just drinking a new bourbon. And if you do that, you're like, wow, this is phenomenal. Yeah. But yeah, if I compare it to like 15-year-old Buffalo Trace distillate, it's not as good as GTS, but it's still an amazing pour. Now, is it worth thousands and thousands of dollars that we're seeing it at auction and secondary? I don't think so. But also, don't forget, there's 9-10-year Buff Turkey that's out there too.
That's right.
Which is also really good. So I'm going to say it was a little slept on at first. I think we're peaking right now, and it's starting to normalize. But to me, overall, I think it's appropriately rated.
What gives the higher value at auction for some of these? Do you know? Is it just
classic proof and yield?
Yeah. Yep, yield.
Okay.
It's always the short barrels that are getting the big boost on.
Yeah, so like our buddies over at New Era, they had the Heart, which at one point was the highest proof, 145 proof, 23 bottle yield. So people,
you have to sell it for $1,000 a bottle at that point.
Lose their minds.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have to, or you're losing your money on the barrel. Barrel's $8 to $10,000 right there. Anyway, I guess another thing is I've never selected or taste through multiple Buff Turkeys. Have you all done that? Because I've heard they can be hit or miss, especially on the single barrel side.
I have tasted some misses. Like, that's why I think they're overrated. Like, I don't want to say the brand, but I have one that I actually think is a miss. So I have 5, and I have tried them all. And there's one of them that I went back to, and I was like, yep, this is a miss. And when I can see what that's going for on the market, like the what people think is fair market value for it, I'm like, man, it's not even close to some of these other ones that I have. Yeah. So that's why I think overall it's becoming overrated, because like there's the theory about some of the kickers out there.
You're swaying me, Mike.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't want to push too hard, but your description sounded like you wanted to say overrated. You've just had access to some really great ones.
Yeah.
But I do think, like, because some of them they miss really hard. Like, in my opinion, they miss really hard. And when I can find a Russell single barrel that is 10 times better than a Buff Turkey that misses, that's a problem.
At 1/8 the price, probably.
1/8 the price.
Yeah. And I was about to say, I was like, you all are more in the consumer era than I am nowadays. I haven't seen any of these less than $200 SRP, and I think
you're lucky.
On average they're probably $250, $300, right?
Oh, lucky.
I mean, in your opinion, I mean, Kevin, I'll ask you first. Is like, I wish I would have stockpiled more of these. Is that really a healthy number that most people that are the enthusiast crowd, like, you should feel comfortable? Like, yeah, this is all worth $300 a bottle every single time.
It's not healthy.
Okay. Like, what's your Amex look like? You got one of those black cards you can just throw down?
Platinum. No. So I had an NDP that I was in talks with right when they started getting hot, and it was like, okay, I've got 3 barrels. You can come. I'll give you first dibs, but we have to charge you $300 per bottle. I was like, holy shit, man,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I've never even heard of it. So I laughed them off. And then in hindsight, I'm like, geez, maybe I should have done that. But yeah, it's that borderline, where's your threshold between your super elite geeks? I mean, you guys know more about selling whiskey than we do, but once you cross that $300 realm, you're really stepping into hard territory amongst bourbon consumers, particularly people who actually want to drink their whiskey and not collect it.
Yeah, that's the hard part. Especially, I mean, I was just thinking as a consumer when, if I was my high time of buying stuff was, in the early 2020s and whatnot. And it's like, man, $300 in a bottle. What else could I be buying?
Yes.
Even at 100 to 150,
yes,
I can get 2 or 3 bottles of really good quality. Maybe they're LTOs, because if you're getting it from a Buffalo Trace or a Wild Turkey, if you can find it not marked up over retail, then you're still probably in a better spot from that, because you don't know with all these single barrels coming out what the hell you're going to be able to get. So it's one of those maybe try before you buy sort of scenarios.
Yeah, if you could try before you buy, 100%. But we were talking about this last night. This is a great comparison. This isn't fair, but comparing Buff Turkey to like C923 Elijah Craig barrel proof.
Yeah.
I've maybe had 1 or 2 single barrels that are better than that, and that's still readily available under $200.
Yep.
See, there we go.
Yeah.
At 175 C923, like, do you say no? I don't often say no to that. I mean, I'm also a person that has 39 different Russell single barrels.
Yeah, well, obviously we all do.
Yeah,
So
so
you
like,
need to.
yeah.
You're not speaking to like people who don't know your problems. Like we
Exactly.
We sit on the couch right there with you and tell our problems.
Yeah, so like when I can get 3 of those, 4 of those.
Oh, man.
I'm like,
Which double oaks was this?
This is the Barrel Proof United Bourbon.
Oh,
you just
wait a
tried.
minute.
Man,
There you go. Just
Not
throwing
just,
some stuff.
what a
over you.
freaking peanut butter bomb.
There you
Oh,
go.
okay.
So if I put my rating, and I mostly look at it from the producer side because that's where I'm at nowadays. I would say it's overrated just because we've talked about it before. It's really hard to build a brand based on something like that. It is a flash in a pan, one-time offering. And as soon as whiskey geeks like you all clear them out of inventory, that brand no longer means anything. And so that's why we have stayed away from doing stuff like that. But I understand why you want to sit there, because as a brand, you're like, okay, I need to get some recognition. I need to do all this. And, guys like you are able to give people recognition, be like, hey, here's some more 15-year Buff Ticker. Here's this. Here's
It has
this.
foundationally jump-started certain NDPs.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I mean, but I think like if I'm not saying you should, but like if Pursuit were to say, hey, we got 180 bottles of Buff Turkey.
Oh,
That would be such a cool move,
people lose
because
their
you
minds.
already have established yourself as a category on the shelf.
Yeah, but then I have to make the financial risk of buying like 10 of these and hoping maybe half of them are going to be really good.
Yeah.
And then
you're
so
right.
what do I do with the other $50,000 worth of investment here?
Yeah.
I guess I got
I'm not saying it's a smart financial move,
Yeah, there you go.
but if you wanted to do me a favor,
there you go. Like, who are we looking after here? Who's number one?
Right.
Who's number one? All right. So another one here is at-home barrel projects.
I'll go for it.
And I'm guessing you guys are talking like taking infinity barrels or something, like making your own infinity barrel or something. Is that
or honey finishes, or
Oh, you mean like, because people are.
You name it.
I saw even Rare Bird 101. They did something where they bought a barrel, another one, and they put Mountain Dew in there, let it try to soak in, and then put Wild Turkey 1 in, because that's Wild Turkey and Mountain Dew.
Rare Bird did that.
Can I?
Within the community. Within this
Oh, okay.
community.
Okay.
So I don't think he was direct.
I'll go first on this. And this is a Kevin Carlson PSA. They're so overrated.
Oh yeah.
Like, I feel like 50% of these that get moved are because people feel sorry for the person that put so much time and effort into them. They are not good most of the time. I mean, can you, both of you, you've been in the game longer than both of us. How many home barrel projects have you had, Kenny, where you've been like, wow, you really improved that distillate.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't ready in the bottle. By
In
the time
rare circumstances, ironically, with cheer wine, which you guys have been talking,
we've been talking about it.
Syrup, a cheer wine syrup, and an eagle rare thing, that was interesting to me. But it's not the kind of thing I want to go back and I have to have more. So I don't. To me, crazy overrated.
Yeah,
it is a fun thing to do, but I feel the same way about infinity bottles. Like, if it's not you that's doing it, most people actually don't want to try it. And I feel like, real talk, they're pretending to like it.
It might be. I mean, you put months of investment into work into it. You went to your local farmer and you bought some honey and you did the whole thing. And you want it to be good. But people, and the reason why I think I see them sell all the time is because they will tater up the sticker with their own personal branding or whatever it is. Right. And then, it'll be the Van Winkle, whatever, poor man's Pappy with Bill Murray on it, but covered in honey. And be like, yeah, we did it. We did the first honey finished poor man's Pappy. And it's kind of like, I don't really know if this is, it's A, it's highly illegal. But B,
exactly.
But B, I don't know if it's like, oh, this is amazing. Everybody got out of it. Might just be kidding yourself. Who knows?
I'm going to say it's so goofy. Like, it's so good. I think if you love the whiskey community and the expertise that it takes to produce good whiskey, it's borderline disrespectful to me.
This is what I meant to say.
Yeah, like, I see the hubris that comes from these people that produce home barrel projects, and then the comments they make online, and I'm like, dog, I'm sorry, your honey finished Weller Special Reserve is trash, and like the reason why Buffalo Trace isn't doing it is because that's trash, and like their product is already better than that. Like they don't need the honey finish. I had a guy who owns a brand say this to me once, and I was like, I'm holding on to this forever. He was like, dog, I don't care how many of you blend Weller Special Reserve and Weller 12 and you think you're like a blender. You're not. Those aren't barrel samples. Those are finished products. And like whatever you're doing, like it's cool if like you and your friends want to geek out about it. But he's like, don't go do a 3-hour TikTok live explaining the tasting notes of your like hybrid Weller blend, because it's not a real blend. And that's how I feel about it. Like I get the chance to, fortunately, spend a lot of time with people in the industry, and I put a camera in front of their face and I let them talk, and I see where their eyes light up and how much expertise they have. And like we talk, we've talked to people who have been distilling since they were 13 years old. And like the fact that like you in your living room or your basement or your kitchen, like you think you're on par or like even a step below that guy, to me is disrespectful to a person who's put blood, sweat, and tears into this. So please stop home barrel projects. Don't sell them to me, or keep doing them and just stop making TikToks about them.
Well, I mean, that's what we used to say about like why people hated Fred Minnick so much. People hated him because it's like, it's just drinking whiskey and raining. And like, I could do that, right? It's not like the skills that you would have to be of Michael Jordan and knowing you had to fly 18 feet through the air to be able to dunk a basketball. Like, oh, there's only a select few people that can do that, but everybody can drink whiskey. And maybe it just goes back to this of why they don't like to give the recognition a master blender deserves. And they're doing TikTok lives, and I don't know if we're ever going to see Nancy Fraley doing a TikTok live because she's talking about blending everything at all of her different distilleries. But not to say the day wouldn't come, but just to kind of full circle this, I also agree that it is overrated. If you want to experiment and have some fun at your house with a small barrel,
do it.
By all means.
More power to you.
I think the dumbest thing you can do is sit there and try to go and sell all the bottles from it with your personal name and phone number and address right there on the internet for anybody to kind of look at. Just saying, like there's people that can find out if you're selling illegal booze.
That's right.
Just saying, it might not be the smartest idea, but if you want to, I don't know, do a hot honey finished with Dr. Pepper syrup, like all power to you, but I'm not going to say it's going to work out, and you might be wasting a lot of bottles in the process there too.
We're going to get roasted for this.
I know.
You think?
We are, but you know what?
I don't care.
2/3, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like this one you brought up here. Over, under, properly rated, relationships with local store owners.
Do you want to go first?
I'll go first.
Yeah.
I actually think relationships with store owners I actually think they're underrated. I can see the arguments for the other sides of this, but I think they're underrated because, and I'm just going to speak for me, like the relationship that I have with my local store owner is actually not because he can get me the best bottles. Like, he is very.
Would you like
well
to put his
aware.
name out there for everybody to know? So I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, no, like,
be like, don't even try to go in this store. Like, Mike's got it on lock, right?
I tell everybody, like, y'all can go in there. Like, in Houston, you can go to M&R. Like,
Oh, there you go.
M&R Liquors is a phenomenal liquor store in Houston, and but I go there because they're a family-run business who is they are deeply committed to like their repeat customers as a part of their community. So like my local store owner, I know like where his son plays flag football, and I'm gonna put my son in the same football league. But it's because like I started drinking when I started really getting serious about the community of bourbon. I really learned like, oh, there are like people who you can wrap your arms around and like add to your family, so to speak. And so in that respect, I really value that relationship. Like I go in there just to shoot the shit, just to hang out. And there are some times where he's like, I don't have anything. And I'm like, well, I didn't come to see if you had a bottle of Blanton's straight from the barrel. I don't care about that. I just came to hang out with you for 3 hours and just chill because I got into this.
See, like, Mike, I'm trying to work the books today, man. I got all the Excel spreadsheets out. Like, yeah. Come back another time.
I mean, sometimes for real, he's doing that. Or like, but like sometimes some rep that he doesn't want to talk to has come in.
And
he's
you have
like,
to go and play the shield for it?
Yeah. And he's like, go try to sell it to Mike. If Mike likes it, we might carry it. Like, you know. So I do think it's underrated. For me, I learn a lot about the business. I learn a lot about the industry. And as a whiskey geek, like there are certain layers of the industry that I want to learn about. I'm about to, you know, I've got a ton of videos that I'm releasing of me filming goofy stuff in the store. So it gives me a chance to make content. I learn a lot about the industry. I do think it's underrated depending on the store and like what their access is.
What about you, Kevin?
I'm going to say appropriately rated. I think that there is some stores that are toxic. There's some stores that are great. I'm very lucky to where I have 2 local stores who love whiskey. They respect whiskey. They love doing barrel picks. They care about people that care about the spirit. And because of that, the relationship is very good. And I'm not like a big spender in their store. Like they track who spends what and they give out allocated bottles. Last year I got a Jack Daniel's Coy Hill because, so a pretty, not a basic bottle, but like a one above. But my relationship with that owner is strong. And he values my opinion. I value his. And we're able to exchange information on what he thinks he should bring in, what's happening in the market. But then I've also seen where people will go in and they'll spend thousands of dollars over the year in order to get that one allocated bottle. And they'll glaze them. They'll do all this other stuff. And then it can be bad. It can be good. Whenever it's relationship based, it just kind of depends. In general, I would say it's appropriately rated. I think if you are a bourbon geek in your local area, it is important to establish a relationship with the store, particularly if you're doing barrel picks. You want them to pass through that store, or you want access to allocated bourbon, or you want to be part of the local whiskey community. The great Kenny Coleman once said,
can't wait to hear this one.
Bourbon, it breaks down barriers. It lubricates conversation.
There you go.
And I feel like I have that with my local store owner. And it's built a community locally where people will put away their cell phones. They'll talk to each other and they'll enjoy good talk over a good dram. And so because of that, I'm going to say appropriately rated.
I agree. I'm going to go appropriately rated. Maybe move the arrow slightly towards underrated. And that's because I don't think a liquor store owner, if you ever got into this, you might realize that you're the most popular person in whiskey circles and everybody wants to be your friend.
Yeah.
But as a consumer out there, you have to be really careful of where are you placing your bets.
That's right.
You can't spread yourself too thin because if you're trying to be friends with 5 stores, well, you can't spend enough between 5 stores to go and build that relationship. And you can't go to a store that's pretty much well already established, that already has their best customers, and you've got to now fight for fifth place between the other 400 people that are currently going through there. So it's very, very tough of where do you spend that money. And Kevin, to your point as well, the stores that are going to mark it up 400%, that's probably not where you want to go and spend your time anyway. But the unfortunate reality is that if you want to get anywhere and you want to make your inroads somewhere and you need access to these bottles, this is the only way it's going to happen.
Yeah,
unless
true.
you're very lucky to sit there and go to one of the many raffles and just wait in line and get selected. But those aren't the stores that you would have to sit there and necessarily create relationships with, because the only thing they're going to tell you is, well, here's the count on what's going to be available today, but you got to hop in line and grab a ticket like everybody else.
Yep.
So yeah, like I said, so I'm going to kind of say that it still holds true today. You can't get rid of the fact that you have to have relationships with liquor store owners. And I don't know, maybe it kind of feels like one of those weird slime ball things. Like as we get older, like we didn't realize that we had to be best friends with liquor store owners, right? So it's like, wow, man, it's like I'm a NASA scientist and I got to sit here and go to Jimmy's package store to make sure that I can get my bottle of whatever when it comes to the door.
Never thought I'd spend so much time in liquor store.
Bourbon is the great equalizer, man.
Yes, it is.
Great equalizer.
It's like, man, my grandparents would be so proud of me right now. All right, so here's one that was on here as well. 375 ml or smaller offerings.
I'm a huge fan of the smaller offerings, both 200 and 375. I think, like you guys have done,
Like holding up our Melwood collection over here.
like we've seen Ass Pocket Whiskey, like we've seen other people done, particularly with harder to find allocated bottles. Why not go smaller? I mean, just imagine if the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection came out
Oh my God.
in 200 mLs or 375s, and so many more people could get to try George T. Stagg or E.H. Taylor, whatever that's going to be, this year, and they could do a set. And we know that they're capable of doing it because they do it with their Prohibition stuff. So I just feel like they could spread the love a little bit, particularly with allocated releases. And also, you don't always have the opportunity to go to a bar and try something new, particularly with a new release. So if you can get it at a cheaper price in a 200 or a 375 ml, then you're just reducing risk of a 750.
Sorry, are you saying it's underrated, properly rated?
Underrated.
Yeah.
Massively underrated. Please bring us multiple options for sizes. And I know it stinks for the people making it because then you have multiple form factors and all that. As a consumer, though, it's very nice, particularly with allocated.
I mean, I agree with you. I think it's massively underrated. The ability to be able to try more different types of whiskey. I will also say,
I'll pay more too.
Yeah, shameless plug for us.
Yeah,
like we have fought for single barrel releases that we are putting out to be in 375, so more people could have them. But, like, I think the psychology of pricing stands. Like when I saw Ass Pocket Whiskey, and I was like, oh, it's only $75 for a buff turkey. I'll buy 3. Like I am foolish in that way.
Because you're like, wait a minute, I actually paid more than if I would have had it as a 750. All right.
But the psychology of pricing is there. But I saw Melwood and how much it costs, and I was like, that's a really fair price. I would like 2.
Yeah.
Like I would like 3, but I love the
2 is 1 is none, right?
Right.
Because you're going to get one and open it, and you got to have a backup.
You gotta have backup. Especially when it's
You
a
like it.
375.
Yes.
When it's a 375, it's gonna go faster.
Yes.
When I bring it to the bottle share, I gotta have another one when I get home.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, the psychology of pricing is there, but I really think, to me, it is a signal from the people that are making the whiskey that like we want to spread the love, and I just think it's good for community. So underrated, massively underrated 375s.
I like it. Yeah, I agree that the market is moving towards that way. We've talked about this for years. The same exact thing you said, Kevin. If Buffalo Trace was able to put the antique collection inside of a 375, yeah, you're going to have more people. You're going to have more opportunity, more of this. But on the flip side, does that lead to more headache? It's like, oh yeah, we double it, but you still didn't spend enough money this year, so you still don't get it.
Yeah.
So it's like, how, like, at what point does the goalpost just keep moved so far that you're still not getting into it? There is also the inefficiencies of what it is, especially from a producer standpoint, how much more effort it takes to be able to do this. The time that it takes to do, one bottle is the same exact time that it essentially takes to do one bottle of a 750. So you're just doubling the time that it takes to be able to do this. But you have to factor in the cost that
Factor it in.
Just build some more costs in there. Build an extra 10 to 20%.
Why did you guys decide to do 375s for?
We decided to do 375s for our Melwood collection because we wanted to fit into the authentic nature of hip flasks.
That's
when
awesome.
it was during around that time, right? So it was more of a packaging design thing of where we said we want to be in a hip flask sort of look, but still have this sort of modern aesthetic to it.
It was the right choice. It was such a good choice.
Yeah, so we're happy with that, and plus knowing that people come here to Louisville, you want something that's unique and different, and this is something that's unique and different too. So I will go ahead and I will agree that it is still underrated, but there is a ton of room to grow in that category as well. All right, so this one on here, it's got an exclamation point, but you got to tell me, industry plants. Is this like in whiskey groups or whatever that they're like trying
You're starting on this one, Mike.
Oh, okay. I want to hear this. This sounds saucy.
So an industry plant, if you guys
Be
don't
delicate.
know.
Talk about catching some flack.
Ah, man,
Put your
yeah.
vest on.
Industry plants, this is well known in the hip hop world. There are people who in hip hop or comedy or even like the actors, like people that came out of nowhere. Some people speculate that Kevin Hart is an industry plant, that like he was unknown and then all of a sudden he was the biggest name in comedy. So there are people that say like this guy was, the industry created him. I personally, as a person who is prone to believe conspiracy theories.
I mean, he was in Jumanji. Was it before Jumanji or
He
after?
blew up before Jumanji. See,
Okay,
that's the
yeah,
thing.
He was. That's how he got
the
Jumanji.
question,
Yeah.
it's like, how did he get into Jumanji? Like, can you name 5 Kevin Hart stand-up specials? The question, like the answer for most people,
Probably not. No.
right, exactly.
And if I did, it's not that great.
Yeah, exactly. So people were like, this guy's not Eddie Murphy. He just like soul plane and then boom, biggest name in comedy.
Soul plane.
So I personally, I'm a person who's prone to believe conspiracy theories. I actually think that there might be industry plants in the bourbon world.
Okay.
In the bourbon content world. And I do think that industry plants in the bourbon world, obviously, they are overrated because there are people that obviously don't like whiskey. It's not that they don't know about it. They don't enjoy it. And I can tell from their videos that they don't enjoy whiskey, but somehow they are able to get millions of views while not enjoying whiskey.
Kind of like I'm gonna try some bourbon from my boyfriend's closet. Those kind of ones.
Yes. I've decided to make a series. This will be an ongoing series of me taking cringe bourbon trends that are mainly made by these plants and making them cinematic.
Very good.
So,
I like it.
yes.
So overrated, I guess, is probably the consensus on this one.
Massively overrated. I don't, again, we talked about this earlier. As a person who spends like 3 hours editing videos, I see one of these industry plants and I'm like, they spent 30 seconds on that and they're at 50,000 views and I'm over here just like huddled over my laptop like, ooh, that.
The sip of the tasting notes when they don't even drink anything.
Yeah.
Be like,
And
I
then they
can't
lay out
so
like
much.
5 minutes of exquisite
Yeah.
notes. Like, what?
And I'm like huddled over my lap, speed rap. And like nobody cares.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that's pretty much, we know that one's going to be overrated. So here's one that is on here. I love this because as from a former consumer standpoint, I get caught up in looking at this too. Bottles that come in boxes or tubes.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking Booker's, Russell's 98, E.H. Taylor. I mean, there's plenty of them. All the old Willett family estates, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Does a box or a tube over or underrated or properly rated?
I'm a sucker for good packaging. Like embossed labels, a good tube, all that. I'm going to say appropriately rated. I feel like those usually come with added expense, both from the consumer and from the producer. But it does make it special. If you're in the aisle at your local store and you're looking down, you see something that's specially packaged. Usually they've done that for a reason. Sometimes they're putting lipstick on a turd. Hopefully they're not. Hopefully it's because, hey, this is, our most marquee bottle and we wanted to put it in a special packaging so it would stand out. You can also put a lot more information onto tubes and boxes than you can that TTB will allow on a label. You can tell stories, you can put additional pictures, all that. So because of that, I am going to say appropriately rated, as it's a good thing.
Yeah. I'll jump in and Mikey take it as well. I think it's appropriately rated. I have my own fair share collection of Willet tubes at the house. And so even
Willet tubes are epic.
You know that 80th anniversary one that had all the little mini pictures that built up everything? It's like, you see that and you just go like, well, it looks good. I also will probably firmly stand ground that I don't think Booker's would be as popular as it is today without that damn box.
Absolutely.
Because the packaging, it shows it's just a sunk cost as a part of it. Now, afterwards, because it's barrel proof, because they started naming batches, those are different reasons why people started gravitating towards them. But I still think being able to pull it off the shelf, the Booker's packaging is just one of that, it stands out from there. There's, needless to say, anytime that anybody wants to make a splash with something, you put it in a box, you put it in a tube. Russell's 98. I mean, people just, you cling to it. I'm just surprised that more people don't. I understand there's definitely there's a manufacturing cost that goes to it. You just got to find somebody that knows how to work the Alibaba magic train and be able to kind of get that stuff shipped here and make it usable. But Mike, what do you think?
I agree. I agree. Appropriately rated, slightly underrated because I'm surprised there's not more of them. I'm the lazy consumer that, like, if you charge $80 for a bottle without a tube and you put it in the tube, I'll pay $120. I'm like the tube or the box. Like, I am also new into my bourbon journey. Around 4-ish years ago, I walked into a Specs and this guy says, "Oh, we just got Booker's," and I said, "Well, what is that?" And he pulls out the box and I was like, "Ring it up. Can I get two?" And he's like, "No." And he was like, "Why do you want it so bad?" And I was like, "It's in a box."
It's in a box.
Yeah. And all I knew was that E.H. Taylor came in a tube. And I was like, well, if tubes and boxes are the same. The 2003, 2002 Russell's Reserve in that box, I once went to a bar. A guy he had white gloves on. They went and got the guy with white gloves to serve. And I was like, in my mind, that is seared into my mind. So if you can put it in a box, if you can put it in a tube, I'm in. So I underrated.
It's part of the marketing. It's part of the marketing of the bottle. And that means something. You guys have had the debate before on your podcast. Is it the distillate? Is it the marketing? What's the perfect combination of both? It's part of it. And it makes the experience, it makes it seem a little more special.
If somebody's bringing out white gloves to pour my whiskey, I'd be like, just go ahead and put that away. I don't think I can afford this. Yeah. I don't even
I look at the price first.
Yeah. I don't even want to look at it. So just go ahead and put that back now.
This was a great experience. I looked at the price first and I was like, okay, I can afford this. And they were like, "Oh, hey, Sam." And Sam had the white glove. They switched bartenders on me. I felt so exclusive. It was great.
All right. We got time for one more here. We'll throw this one out, because I feel like this is something that we should always revisit every once in a while, and it's camping out. Is camping out over, under, or properly rated?
You go first, Kenny. You haven't gone first.
Yeah. I'll go. I think it's time contextual, because when I was into it, I could go and I could get somewhere at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, 8 p.m. the night before, and I was guaranteed a Van Winkle 23 the next day. So very properly rated as doing something like that. And if that was your only way to get it, especially at a retail price, maybe even underrated. Now, I think that has probably shifted a little bit, because most people are camping out for like 2 days when it comes to be able to get something like that. And I think that is far overrated, just because of, well, what else can I possibly be doing right now with my time or my hobby. And I get it. Some people are like, listen, I work from home. I can work from everywhere I want. I can just take my computer. I can take my laptop. I'm sitting there. I'm talking to my people anyway.
You're changing the calculus.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're talking to your people anyway, right? I mean, you're just kind of hanging out, and maybe you make some new friends from it and whatnot. And maybe sometimes you're sitting there also with the scum of the earth because they're getting paid to sit there and they don't know what they're doing and they have 4 teeth, but they've got somebody else's credit card. That's just the nature of what it is. So I think today I feel like it's gotten a little overrated, but I also feel, especially, and you guys can fill me in on like what you see in your parts of the country, but at least here in Kentucky, there really is no more camping out. It's done. It's gone. There's no stores that have releases like that. It's like you either know somebody back from our relationship perspective, or you're just happen to be very lucky on lottery day, and that's coming from your Total Wines and your liquor barns and everything else around here. So the days of actually camping out are very few and far in between.
Yeah, I mean, I would tend to agree that I think it's overrated. Before you said that, I was gonna say it's overrated for everybody except people that live in Kentucky, because I don't know.
Okay, and I should take that back. Maybe it's because camping out. I'll take that out of context too, because camping out, I was taking into the context of going to liquor stores. Now, there's a lot of people that do it. They wait at Heaven Hill every single morning, or they go to Michter's and wait in line. But I don't know how much and how long they're out there these days.
Yeah.
But it does give me slight sweet joy when somebody says, no, we don't have anything today. And they were there for like 12 hours.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, man. It's like, I'm so glad it wasn't me.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I am not camping. I don't camp in general. I don't camp for fun. I don't
You know, one of those showers that you just put water in and you hang on a tree?
Okay. Like, I'm not even sharing Airbnbs anymore. I'm like, I need my own bedroom.
Yeah.
I'm not camping. But I can understand if somebody's like, Russell's 15 is coming out and I'm going to camp at Wild Turkey. But where I live in Texas, if you camp out for whiskey, I think you are crazy. I think you're insane. I have been in line at places like Still Austin where we get there early and it's 96 degrees I saw a person at a Still Austin release pass out because it was so hot.
Oh my gosh.
He fell asleep on a like foldable chair and was in line, and right before he got his bottle, dude passed out. And I'm like,
you mean from like heat exhaustion?
Heat exhaustion.
Yeah.
Because he hadn't had enough water. And like, I remember passing him water because I was like, dude, you're asleep, take some water. Like, and I saw that and I was like, it's never worth it. Like, the bottle's just not that valuable. There are other ways to access the whiskey you want. Like, you know, some people love it though. Like, people love camping out. I think it's massively overrated unless you're camping out at a distillery in Kentucky specifically. I don't want people, like, no offense, but I don't want, like, if you're in Oregon, I don't want you camping out overnight. If you're in the Mecca, if you're in the motherland for bourbon, I maybe can understand it, but I will not be out there with you. So
yeah, here you go.
Overrated.
Yeah. For me, it's all based on the details. It's either very overrated or underrated. If you do live here and you're very lucky and you're in one of those groups that is like, hey, Michter's release, Old Forester release, Heaven Hill release, and you can get up at 4:00 instead of getting up at 6:00 and drive there and grab an Old Fitzgerald 13-year, very, very special, which is incredible.
Amen.
For MSRP, my God, you have to do that.
Yeah.
But then if you're in another place and you're gonna spend the night outside to get a Blanton straight from the barrel,
no thank
no
you.
way, dude. So it depends on your time value of money. Depends on, for me, the threshold is I like to sleep in a bed and have a shower. I'm willing to get up a little early to get to a place if it's going to be something special and there's a high likelihood. So because of that, I'm gonna go with slightly overrated. But I agree with you both. But I will say this: as the market on super high end releases tends to normalize more, it may become a little more worth it in the future because you may be able to start to get things where people used to do like two to 3 days. I remember in Oklahoma City, people would have it was like tent city. It was
Hmm.
crazy. People would camp out for 3 days to get a Thomas H. Handy.
Oh.
And it's like, no way, dude.
Yeah,
no
no
way.
way.
But the other thing, Mike, you have around you is the big specs drop everywhere as well.
Yeah.
And so that's some people camp out for that, or at least they
Mhm.
stay there for maybe 7 or 8 hours until
No, days.
It's days.
Days. A guy is famous for leaving his family on Christmas. He was first in line. And I have never camped out at the Specs Drop, ever. This year, I was like, I'm going to go at 3:00.
In the
And
morning,
No, PM.
PM. Oh, so like after the lines have already subsided, or you're talking about 3 p.m. for the next day.
No, 3 PM the same day.
Okay.
And still, Tell 'em.
Still, there's a line, but there's tons of great whiskey. There was Willet Purple Tops. There was 11-year Willet Rye. Old Granddad 16. I was sending you guys pictures. There's Russell's Picks. There was like so much stuff. Then I was like, man, people got here so early. And, you know, obviously they go get it. They make it's the time, money, effort calculus. Like they spend $5,000, they go flip it on secondary. But no one is grabbing bottles that they can't access via relationship or just saving your money for. I mean, you know, in Texas, I really hope everybody in Texas that's listening to this, it's not worth it, dog. It's too hot. Like, y'all, it's too hot where we live, y'all. Please, for your families, like don't abandon your family to camp out and be hot and then go get, you know, Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel, like wonderful whiskey. But don't.
But you can show up at 3:45 after you, and you'll still get access to it.
That's right.
I cleaned up at
Yeah.
3:00. It's great.
Well, that's awesome. Well, guys, we hit on a lot of good topics today, and I loved it. Thank you so much for giving me the softballs here and teeing them up and making my job easy of things to talk about. There was, I think, at least 10 to 15 more we could have gone through, so that just means we got to settle up and do it again for round 2 at another point in the future.
That's right. You
I'll never say
gotta
no.
follow all of us, and we'll do it via other means.
I'll never say no, Kenny. Just
There we
invite me
go.
back.
So how can people follow you, figure out where they can do all that sort of stuff, and find you on TikTok as well and Instagram?
At bourbon_notes. Kevin Carlson, you're gonna see Mike and I in each other's content a lot, and maybe a little bit of Kenny.
Yeah. At Cinnabourbon, like cinematic bourbon, not like Cinnabon. Like, not
It's
cinnamon.
close.
Yeah. CINE bourbon on all platforms.
That's awesome. Make sure you follow them. I really admire what you all do, because anybody that doesn't know, it's like it's really easy to take a picture and post it on Instagram. That's pretty painless. Videos, on the other hand, it takes a lot of time to put together the thoughts, the ideas, the content, and just to do it, and a little bit of the editing, especially Mike on your end, a lot of post-production process.
Was that a shot?
No,
Shot at me?
no. I'm just saying. You can't deny.
I deserve it.
there's-
Oh no, you can't deny it. There's nobody's production quality is better than Mike's.
It's
no
not.
doubt.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is phenomenal. And by the way, Mike, I do love what you do by bringing your family into it at time and time
Yeah.
again too. Your family is really
It's the
adorable.
best.
But like I said, I have a big bet, and I think TikTok is going to be a huge thing for brands going in the future. And I just got to figure out how to get more going back into it myself. I mean, I had started TikTok during the pandemic as well. And, you know, I actually had my one video of virality take off, and that's how we masked so many people. But it was one of those things that I want to get back into it. It's just, I feel like I need to start the brainstorming ideas here. Like, you guys are really good at it. I'm always kind of like, do I have anything important to talk about today? And it's like, I don't, but I'll have you try to help me. You fed me ideas here, so I'll just start stealing these ideas that you gave him here.
People want to know everything you guys are doing.
Yeah.
It's awesome. They really do,
Dude,
man.
literally,
Yeah.
you have so much. Like
Awesome content.
Like the decision to go with this new bottle, the decision for the 375. I mean, like, you guys have tons of content.
There's a lot of things to talk about.
I feel like you guys.
But how can I talk about, is it better than Blanton straight from the barrel? All right. So that's what's going to see if it's going to mark.
Bring him in.
Is it better than
Line
Blanton?
them up.
That'll hit. Go do blinds on the street. Go do blinds on Main Street. That will. Hey, I'll film it for you. That will hit.
I like it. Well, make sure you follow those guys. You can also follow Bourbon Pursuit on TikTok. Also, you can subscribe to our newsletter if you want to figure out other things that we had talked about in the past when I had talked about TikTok. You actually go to bourbonpursuit.com, type of the word TikTok, and you'll see all the other episodes where we had mentioned it or put some bets on it and everything like that as well. And if you do like the show, you want to support it, you can actually join us on Patreon. You support it as little as $5 a month. But with that, cheers, everybody. We'll see you next time.